All right, here we are in the doghouse. We've checked in with the rig manager. We've got our chains closed down in the chain shack. Now this is where the orientation starts. We're going to start wandering around the rig. First thing we're going to show you is a whole bunch of safety and rescue equipment that's stored up here in the doghouse. The doghouse is the control center, the command center for the whole rig. It's where the driller operates the rig from. It's where we get all our parameters from. And you can see it is where most of our safety equipment is stored. It's a central location. Right here, as you can see, we got an eye wash station. Just above that is an eye cleaning station for your safety glasses. If you have to do any sort of overhead equipment repair or you're climbing at heights, this is where we keep all of our fall protection equipment, your belts, carabiners, everything that's needed for overhead work. Lockout station, very important. Whenever you're working on anything around the rig, everything has a lockout for it. Everything is identified by color, and colors represent positions. Your position would be green on this rig. Roughneck is green. Over here, hearing protection. As we talked about throughout this whole orientation, you'll hear me talk about hearing protection. Everything around here needs hearing protection. This is where you can get it up here. You can see here, we'll talk about the accumulator in a short period of time. This is the remote panel for that accumulator. This is where it's operated from. Down here, underneath this bench here, we have 2 Scott air packs that are available. There's 2 more down in the tool house or in the chain shack area, depending on which rig you're on. Again, first aid kit on the wall there. Anything that's taken out of there has to be recorded. Any incidents or accidents that happen to you while you're working on this rig must be reported to the driller. In behind me here is policy and procedures board. Any policy procedures that everybody needs to know are represented here on this board. Company or oil company information that they want us to know is also represented here. Our well license, the guiding principles from our CADC, any safety alerts or safety related incidences and documentation that's sent from the office is stored on this board here. Down here on the floor, you'll see the stabbing valve and the inside BOP. These are for well control. These will be explained to you, but what you need to know as a lease hand, that this is where they were stored, and they have to be stored in open position with this handle. Talking about BOP control and well control, you will have to study this board as soon as possible, and you'll have to know what your position is. Your position on this in here is floor hand number 2. So know what your kick warning signs are, ask questions, the driller will train you, and know what your position is in case of a blowout while we're tripping or drilling or while we're out of the hole. As a lease hand, you will handle a lot of the waste and the garbage around the lease. These are CADC guidelines for handling waste and what you're supposed to do with different types of waste generated at the rig. Please read this poster and know what it means and follow the guidelines that are on it. Just above that, you can see this is where we keep our stretcher. If you're ever asked to go get a stretcher, that's where it is. There's also a basket stretcher down in the tool house. This is where we keep all of our safety manuals, MSDS books, safety meeting books, motor books, anything important documentation for the company. Last thing we'll talk about is the Pace-On. This is the electronic drilling recorder. It holds all the information that happens out here on a day-to-day basis. Pump pressures, rotary speeds, weights of our string. And what you'll have to do is at the end of every tower, you'll have to tell the driller that you didn't get hurt, and he checks that off. You'll be assigned a password or a PIN number so that he can check you in that you weren't injured during their tower. All right, now we're all done. We're going to head out to the rig floor.